All right. Just want to do this quick stream. I just got this notification that M1 Finance, or actually not even a notification. Maybe I got it before, but just realized M1 Finance has a crypto offering, or is allowing not like a coin offering, but um, they're allowing you to add cryptos to your investment pies. So let's go over that. It'll be real quick. I'm just kind of like discovering and exploring and doing stuff in it and seeing how it all looks. Um, Give me a moment. Let me save this because I want to come back to this, and I'll share my screen here in a second. Actually, it's already saved. I just want to like start from kind of scratch here, but this is pretty cool. So, talking with I'm Classic, another brother in the space. I've had him on the channel before, and him talking about crypto, and he's doing some interesting stuff, which I like quite a bit. So, hold on. Oh, let me do some work here behind the scenes. On YouTube. Jesus, they make it so hard sometimes. All right. Excuse the squeaky noises. That's my dog. I'm actually starting to train her a little bit, or test out, her sleeping in the cage with the door open. All right, man. She's like, she wants attention. Hey, stop it. Jesus. She wants attention bad. But we gotta get this done, and then I gotta feed her. And then I actually gotta do some work. Like, my day was kind of thrown off because we had some issue with the platform. So that looks like it's been resolved. But I gotta get some coding done. Yeah, I had an issue with one of one of my personal jobs, like personal clients that I'm doing work for. Okay. Let's exit. Confirm. Hey, stop it. God, hey, you're just barking at anything, dude. Okay, I'm trying to get to the right spot because it looks like it's not like maybe. Hey, what's up, man? Parallel universe, right? Something like that. Inception, Dogception, mirror universe. But so it looks like it's a feature where you have to like click on it and then you can sign up for early access or something like that. Not exactly sure, but I can only get to it like a certain way. So I'm trying to show that here. All right, let's just do this. Let me go ahead and share the tab so we can get into it, and then I can get on with the night here because I do have to get some stuff done. Window share. All right, so there's that. All right, cool. All right, let's get this looking right. All right, that shouldn't block anything. All righty. Thanks for those that are joining. I'm not waiting for any particular reason. I'm just, yeah, I'm getting everything started. So I went to, because I was doing something else. but I went to M1 Finance and they said we have cryptos coming to M1. And it says build a crypto account in minutes with M1 Pies. So let's actually go through that. Here it says sign up for early access. So signing up, it should open. Okay, cool. You guys see that? Oh, oh crap. All right, hold on. Let me log in again. Give me a sec. Oh wait. I can move the window as if that did anything, and all it does is just. All right. Unshare that yet. Just gotta get MFA done. All right, let me reshare this. So I've logged in. Excuse me. I've logged in. Okay, you'll get early access, build custom pies while you wait. We'll notify you in the app by email when you can open a crypto account. For now, visit MPies to search and build crypto pies. All right, cool. Let's just go through it. So it looks like I mean, I'll probably put some money in this if it allows me to. So it gives you this option here, or it gives you all of this here, and allows you to. It has like the crypto section. Now this disappears when you go to other section, which makes sense because it's such a new feature and all. But I can go here and it'll show me everything. One thing I don't like about this is that it doesn't say like I can't just do it from here. Like I can't build a pie or anything else like that. So what I discovered is if I go to my pies and I see all my pies here, build a stock fund pie, build a crypto pie. Now, what I've also seen is that I cannot do this in my Roth IRA, which I have with M1 Finance. So I'm just going to work through that. So it looks like it's only available for, regular, investment accounts, non-IRA, non-retirement accounts, I assume. So build crypto pie. Oh, where we go? Build crypto pie. And this one, just gonna name it cryptos. Right. And then add slices. Then it gives you all my crypto or the cryptos available. Uh so you click here, and one thing I don't like is that you can't just add it. And I think that's how it all works. I mean, I usually do a lot of this stuff from the app, but you can just select it here. So it's not like it's a big deal, but I think maybe because usually I think you can just if you click on it, you can like add slice or something like that. That's usually how it works. So it has some of my favorites here, not all of them, but some of them or most of them, because I have really only about 6 coins that I really like that I really invest in. Let me actually look at that. I mean, your Algo, Cardano, Ethereum, BTC is not one of my top or is not one of my top coins. They do have my top coins, so I do love that. So that's great. Let me look though, because there are some like CRO is one, XLM is another one. Yeah, that's about it. So they have the important one, Ethereum. It doesn't look like they have Ethereum too. So something like staking where you can make some money off of it. Okay. All right. Brother Alvin looks like he can jump in with me here. Okay. Cool. So I'll have him join me. And we were talking about it in another chat that we're in. Brother Alvin does a lot, like in terms of like he is definitely a Renaissance man, like what's it called, non-professional, professional investor. Like the stuff that he talks about, man. Or I'm classic, I call him Alvin, but he does a lot with this type of stuff, and talks about it a lot, and has like actually legit strategies and ways that he's using different platforms to track some of his assets and some of the stuff he's doing. so which is really nice. So he's very active on social media with that as well. All right, cool. So still sharing. All right, so I'm not gonna do Litecoin link or chain link. I might add that, but I mean we'll add that. I mean that's just me being pressured in a sense. A lot of people peer pressure wise have been into chain link. Always talk about chain link. So this might be a spot where I can actually put in chain link. This is not really serious because it looks like I can't. I don't think I can put money in this yet. So we're discovering. In fact, did I? Let me. In fact, did I? Yeah, okay, perfect. I didn't test sound like I usually do, but it's already confirmed. So we're good. All right. So we'll wait for brother. Or while we're waiting for brother Alvin, let's go through this. So BTC. I mean, I'll put money into it, but it'll be a small percentage. Let's go through my breakdown of what I'm actually gonna do. This is real quick and simple, nothing special. This is basically the screenshot that I used for the video. So y'all saw that. And I mean, I might add Chainlink here, but this is mainly what I want to focus on. Ethereum being the biggest one in there, Cardano being a second, Cardano Algorand being tied for second, and then Bitcoin. Chainlink, I mean, I might take out 1 or 2% here and put like 5, maybe 10% to Chainlink or something like that. So we'll see, and go from there. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and do that. So just select your coin, and then here at the bottom we can add. I'm just like looking at the screen and making sure all this is getting through. This is like pretty cool intel. Okay, cool. Alvin's here. All right, man. Did you want to show your camera, bro? Show your face or anything? What's it called? Let me do this. Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah, that's
Yo,
you wanted to show
can you
your
hear me?
face.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool, cool, cool.
All right. It's not reverbing or echoing or anything like that.
No, not on my side. Are you good on your side?
Yeah, I'm good. It sounds a little bit like choppy, but it's not a big deal because it's low on my side. So if I
Okay,
overtalk you, just excuse me, okay?
no problem, no problem.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna add you to the stream here. All right, so I'm going through this. I'm adding Chainlink. What are your thoughts on Chainlink? Like, fuck it, we'll do it live. Like, pressure, pressure. Tell me what you think.
You may be asking the wrong guy. So
This guy here, you have
here's
failed me. Why are you
here's
even on the stream?
here's my thing now. So I've been working with crypto, have had gains and losses, have had positive experiences and negative experiences with it since late 2016.
Yeah.
So I've rode a cycle. Actually, technically now I've rode 2 cycles with the crypto game,
Right.
and each cycle I've learned some valuable lessons. The nature of the crypto market right now is that it's an emerging market and it is highly speculative. Um, it echoes so perfectly to the .com era. So picture these coins, picture these assets as .coms, as websites,
Mm-hmm.
and picture how many venture capitalist companies or private investors or all that kind of money has floated around these websites, aka coins.
Mm-hmm.
Every website, or most of the websites that were coming out at that time in the 90s, said that they had this great grand purpose or function. They was going to change the world. They were going to
Mm-hmm.
be a better website than uh, uh, another website that came about. So that was
Yeah,
one of
and
the,
then the ones that actually did, hindsight being 2020, but in looking into the future, the ones that actually did well were kind of like understated.
they were sleepers. They were
Right,
sleepers.
sleepers,
We're
right.
in the stage right now.
Right,
We
right.
don't know. We still don't know who the sleepers are. And it's 13 years deeper in the game right now. You've had all kind of ideas. Okay, so we're gonna create a better currency system for global currency exchange, or we're gonna create smart contracts for houses or property and all that stuff. What I'm saying is that these coins are still in a maturity phase and integrating themselves into the greater economy, that you don't know who's going to be long lasting or not. So does that mean that the overall market is a sham, that it's unessential to our life? No. What it means is that right now you're still in the speculative phase
Mhm.
of um, the markets. So what does that translate in my mind as a person who's been around these markets for a long time? You got to have kind of two minds about it, meaning your first mind or your shorter term goals is to learn how to effectively speculate and trade in the market. I know some people use leverage trading. They also use they try to scalp the markets for 20% here, 30% there, and all that stuff. And that's fine. That's cool if you're highly skilled in doing it. But if you're not really a super skilled person in doing that, and you believe in the long term potential of these coins and therefore the projects that they reflect, then you what you do is you find out a strategy where you can do longer term holding, and you see which one of your coins or your stocks is going to get integrated into a more greater use in society over time. Uh,
Yeah, so you kind of speculate or try to fortune tell in a sense. What would like I always tell people talk about like there's two types of coins basically: currency and ecosystem coins,
yeah,
aka tokens.
infrastructure, digital infrastructure to help intellectual property and other property be managed in a
Right.
global perspective.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like in these ecosystem coins, they transact and they have a token. So your Ethereum is a token based.
Hmm.
Bitcoin is currency. So those are the two major players, and everything is kind of modeled after those two.
Yeah, you got
Um,
a bunch of copycats. I mean, did you know, or your audience know that there's nearly about 18,000 different cryptocurrencies um, uh, that compile the known market? And there's also ever expanding coins, usually turn out to be scam or a value extraction pump and dump coins as
right.
well. And those are the ones that get the newbies caught up, because you have promoters across social media, oftentimes people of our same hue, who um, it's gotten to the point to where they could
Hold
create
on,
these.
stop it.
Uh-huh.
No, my dog.
Okay, it's
And
gotten
then
to the point to
once you're
where.
done, we're gonna get to some of these chats because we have uh, a pretty good thought here, or statement, and then a good question that you could probably take on. So thank you for this and your time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, so what I was saying is that um, it's gotten to the point in the field right now where it's very easy to copy and paste code and create a different token or coin
Yeah, you can
on.
easily do it by just forking a repository on GitHub, which was in the early days, that was a way of validating a coin that I used to use in late 2017, early 2018. I would
Mhm,
look at the GitHub repository for a coin and say, yo, listen, there's no activity, there's no commits, the commits are shit, blah, 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 so on and so
mhm.
forth. And Helmet Chili, we'll get to your statement here, but I definitely want Alvin to to go
Yeah,
further because he's always dropping knowledge and gems in other places that I'm involved in with him.
this
Go
is a
ahead.
cautionary tale for any rookies getting into the game right now. You'll see these people promote these obscure ass coins. Sometimes they'll be themed on something that's happening in the greater social media. You know,
Yeah,
for
and that's
example,
expanded because of NFTs now. So now you have your
that too.
themed NFT.
That even yeah, NFTs the same way as well. Do NFTs have a use case? Do they have the ability to be a great thing for exclusive access to things, or to put your intellectual property like an ebook on the blockchain so that it's hard to be copied and things like that?
I mean, another thing is homes. I think
Yeah.
you put in the chat about China dumping all this money into homes in the U.S.
Hmm.
Was that you? Yeah, I think that looks like Erica is doing a. That's Erica, right?
Yeah, Erica was doing that earlier.
Yeah, she did an
She had a live
episode and it
stream
says
earlier.
China dropped 6 billion on homes in Florida and California. So all my friends in Florida, man, like get the fuck out, bro, because China ain't trying to lose no money after then dropped all this fucking money in especially in the Florida housing market. Like that shit ain't going down. That ain't going nowhere.
There was an article that Chinese had been buying up some land that was like close to a military base here in the U.S. as well. I forgot to say
And
that.
honestly, a while back, China was actually they were involved in token based or the tokenization of actual properties. So let's get to this, and I do want to finish up with M1 Finance, and then we can get to a even greater conversation here.
Yeah.
Helmet Chili.
Well, the thing that I really wanted to drop on y'all,
Oh, okay.
something to avoid is yes, easy to create an NFT, easy to create another token off of a main chain. Right now, what the easiest place to kind of do that is on Binance Smart Chain, because it's a quick transfer. There's not a lot there's not as much activity on it as the Ethereum chain, and therefore, what people do, they create these chains, they put a little liquidity on it, meaning like they go to exchange, convert dollars into Binance Smart Chain, and put some value on there. Then they go to like a third party uh, tracking site in order to show that there's activity. And what they'll do is they'll sell you on the idea that, oh, well, I put $100 into this chain, into this token, and I got $3,000 back. Maybe they're lying, maybe they're not. But what it does is it attracts the newbies because they want to get some of those fast, high, quick gains. What they don't tell you is that by the time that coin goes up 3,000, 5,000%, the people who created the chain and already pulled the liquidity off. We call it a rug pull in
Yeah.
The crypto arena.
Yeah, and
So,
like they pull the rug out from underneath you, and you don't even know it until things start crashing, and you lose 40
yeah,
billion of your $41 billion market cap.
you could
I forgot who
you
did that
you
recently.
you could put in the contract address and put it on a ledger searching website, and you'll see when the transactions were made. People put money in, and all of a sudden a big chunk of money goes out, and there goes your money.
Yeah,
So um, avoid the Binance Smart Chain obscure tokens. Stick with the top. If you're a newbie, stick with like the top 10, maybe top 100 coins. But
hmm
remember, it's all speculation.
yeah, and then
And the
honestly,
dark side of the crypto world is that you're sitting in front of your phone or computer, and you're putting real economic value into a token or coin that somebody else is putting value into, and you got a pool of people putting money into these things, and some people are pulling out the money at a time at a profit. Other people are kind of getting stuck at a lower value with that coin. But you don't have maturing long-term markets without first having a bed of speculative markets. You have humans trying to figure out what is the true value of all this stuff. You even in your currency world, you got the forex market, which is a whole bunch of institutions and computers trying to figure out how much does this global does this nation's currency value in terms of this other nation's currency.
yeah, and they're doing an arbitrage play at that point because they're moving between different currencies and then taking and then scalping the value off of that or the profits off of that. In some
Correct.
cases,
So that was my take on the uh just a general uh observation of the crypto world. Speculative market, become skilled in speculating if you're interested in this market. Study up on some trade techniques. Get a trading mentor that's been successful in multiple markets, not just crypto, but maybe forex, stock market, options, things like that.
and we
Provable,
always plug Brother Dollar Will on stuff like this.
yeah,
He's one of the
provable
professionals in the
results,
space.
and they're usually going to come from a traditional trading discipline, like Elliott Wave or Wyckoff or uh, one of those trading things. If you want,
Hold
if
on,
you
hold that, because I got to do this because I'm getting timed out here. But
okay,
first off, Helmet Chili, he said, reminds me of the race to be the best search engine. Google came out on top, and he was talking in reference to the part of the conversation where we talked about we didn't know who were the winners and losers of all these .com stocks. Next is Carlos Villette says, or Villette, however he's Spanish.
ISO coins, the
Hold on. What are
stellar,
your thoughts on ISO
yeah.
222 coins or compliant coins? And Helmet Chili says, definitely appreciate this. Now, hold on. Before we get to the answering that question, I'm going to take that down, but I want to complete this because I'm getting timed out. So, right here, in terms of the crypto pie on M1 Finance, got cryptos, we got the description, putting that all in. I have my basic split of how I like it. I'm heavy on Ethereum in the long term. I believe stuff like that's going to pay off my house. But it looks like there's something else that's going to pay off my house, and I'll probably, probably do something else as well pretty soon in terms of the property side of things. Cardano is my second. Algorand is also another second. What I'm actually going to do is put this down to 15, raise this to 25 because I like Cardano a little bit more. Again, that's just, over time, I've liked Cardano and it's done, I think, well for me in the long run. And I think it's actually going to do great going into the future. So once that's all done, I'm going to continue and see what it gives me next. All right, so I have my CryptoPie. Let's go and look at stocks. Search stocks. And let me see, market news, stocks. Where is funds? So I made my pie. The only thing here is if I go to, I think I have to go to invest. And all right, so I made that pie. So now I think I can go ahead and edit here and then add a new pie. So, or add a slice and then my pies. And let's see if I have crypto. Here we go. Sweet. So I got crypto pies here. I can go ahead and add that. And now let's make some room for it. Give me a sec. I made an edit earlier on this. So I put cryptos at 20%, ETFs at 10, healthcare at 8 to make this work, industrials at 8, real estate. It's been a while since I've gone over my portfolio, but as you can see, nothing's really happening. It's down. And I'm actually going to start and I want you to bring this up, man. I've been telling everybody about, like, people personally, about something that you said, Alvin, about how in terms of your conversations, if you want to reveal that, or if you want to talk about that more, maybe on your channel and do that content there. But you had something that was like,
or the conversation with the financial planner.
Yeah, your research, like that research you've been doing in that, like, I definitely want to talk about that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Went to a financial planner.
Oh no, hold on. Like, I gotta get this done.
Oh, finish that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to get this done because it's timing me out. And so continue. Consumer added cryptos confirm. And we're just going through it. Can I try to contact for further assistance? Okay, so it looks like I can create a pie, but I can't add cryptos to it. So I guess that's it.
What's that? That's an auto allocation. Like whenever you put cash in.
Well, yeah, you can do. Yeah, so this is your target allocation or your target percentage. So when you add cash, it'll always split it across all these pies.
Across the portfolio.
Yeah, so your portfolio is a pie, and then it can be made up of other pies, and those pies can actually have their own slices. So at the end of it, at the very smallest part is slice, which will be your individual security or what have you, or coin in this case now. But I can add it, it looks like, but it won't allow me to go forward. So let's confirm one more time. No. All right, cool. So it won't let me go forward, but that's pretty much it. And once it starts working,
those features.
Huh?
They'll have to upgrade those features.
Yeah, and this is like an early preview of it. So that's why I wanted to go through it. And
Mhm.
excuse me for interrupting you, but I wanted to go through that so we can finish that part of it and get it out of the way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, what's it called? Is this net cash flow? I think this is more than this. I have to see. I think it might be a little bit more than this. It's just that I owe in terms of the margin loan that I took out, or the collateralized loan I took out. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And all right, so brother, you were first off ISO the ISO 222 compliant
ISO
coin.
2022 coins, I believe, they're supposed to be a specific set of globally accepted cryptocurrencies. Um, Stuff like uh, off the top of my head, Cardano.
Mhm.
Um, I believe maybe EOS. I could be wrong on that one. Stellar
Yeah,
Lumens, um, XRP.
you said
It's
stellar
supposed,
lumens.
huh?
You said
Yeah,
stellar lumens. Okay.
yeah. You can. Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. If you put in ISO 2022 coins on YouTube, you're going to get like 50, 100 different videos, and they all going to have different sets. But the main theme is that these are supposed to be government accepted blockchains or infrastructures for commerce. And what 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 people are saying is that sometime in November of this year or early 2023, these will be the only accepted coins or blockchains that will hold value. In other words, it's going it's going to create government friendly third party blockchains.
And that makes sense for something like Cardano, who a coin that's actually done a lot of work overseas and in different in different economies, uh,
And
in terms of banking and
XRP
things like
pushes
that.
real hard for that. XRP is trying to become the next Swift. They have relationships with banks and all that stuff. My take on it: get your position into it. Um, I hear so many internet rumors about many different things, not just crypto, and especially in the hotel or the conspiracy circles and all that stuff. And so the date that usually what happens is the date passes by and nothing happens. Usually. So hedge your bets, get you some positions in it. Don't become dogmatic about it. I would advise you not to become dogmatic about it and say like, "Oh, these are going to be the only coins, so I'm just going to only have my profile for that." Then you're going to be mad because at the time Ethereum maybe $10,000 a coin or or Bitcoin something higher and all that stuff, and now
The coin
you've
Ethereum
been
was
so
good.
focused on the rumor that you heard that you didn't even expose yourself to the other coins.
Yeah,
So
like especially Ethereum, man. I'm looking at or I'm speculating $20,000 Ethereum. So 10,000, it already reached what half five almost five
4,500, yeah,
48. I think
USD.
48 was the highest I saw, but we'll say 45.
Hmm.
Um, I mean that's great, And right now I just look at it as being on sale. Me personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My personal belief is that you're not experiencing a collapse or absolute crash in the market. What you're experiencing is a cyclical reset of the market. It's a good time to buy. However, the
Mhm.
word buy is loaded. When you say buy to one man, he may mean like, okay, it's time to uh take a title on out on the car and
Right,
go all in. If you say buy to another man, he may be okay. Well, I already have like 5 or 6 months of an allotted reserve to put in here, and I'm only going to put in so much per month.
right.
So the market is not the issue. Your psychology around the market becomes your issue in not just crypto but any market.
Hmm.
You know. This is a more of a longer play. So, in other words, you may find yourself putting a little money here and there into crypto, but at the same time, either your personal profession or the skill sets that you have is what's going to put food on your table in the meantime. And while you're doing that, um, you're in a way kind of going to set it and forget it. And maybe a few years from now, so the value that you put in back then is going to compound into a much higher value later down the line in which you could use it for something. To tie this back into the M1 finance situation, I think I wouldn't say it's the most excellent idea, but I would say that it is a decent idea for people who are already fairly high income because those people can take 5 or 10% of their income and diversify into a portfolio. And the
What
beautiful
can you? What is defined as high income in your eyes? What's the money? What's the value on that?
high 5 figures, low 6 figures
What is that?
for,
What
huh?
is like? What is that? Give me a number.
Give you a number of personal opinion, 75K
Okay.
yearly,
Mm-hmm.
um, up to 150K for a single person,
Okay.
and
Cool.
then married, of course, double that, something like that,
All
without
right.
without much expenses. So the beauty of M1 is that it doesn't matter whether it's stock or whatever, right? Crypto and all that stuff. What that portfolio does is it as what happens is it expands, but instead of you having to sell it for capital gains, and incur capital gains, you can borrow value against it
Which
and
I've done.
and
Mhm.
leverage that value somewhere else while your portfolio stays where it's at. The only risk in that is that if the value of your portfolio goes down, you may have to cover that.
Yeah,
Um,
you can have serious margin calls on that, and they also
mhm,
have a minimum percentage that you have to have in terms of valuation. So some higher risk stocks that trade quite a bit and are very volatile will have like a higher percent. I forgot what they call it. Like it's like a hold or something like that. But it'll be something like Tesla will have like a 40%. So I forgot what it's called, man. But like Tesla, for instance, if Tesla fluctuates a great amount, then you can get margin called pretty easily on something like Tesla
mhm.
if you're borrowing against Tesla.
So it,
With pressing or borrowing against Tesla.
yeah. So whatever you do, just enhance your knowledge base, know your strategy, um, and just do it that way. Don't be your own worst enemy when it comes to these markets.
Helmet Chili says, "Do what extremely wealthy does. Do what the extremely wealthy does. Borrow on stock value, then get a loan to pay that loan."
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that with like transferring values or balances on credit cards to credit cards that have um, what's it called, a lower percent interest rate. And that's going to be a perfect segue into something that you've been actually doing in terms of your research. But let's get this comment. Same time, you aren't selling any of your stock, right? So you can still maintain and use the valuation of that stock or that asset, but without and then you keep that asset as long as you're making minimum payments, and that's also great because you're keeping that asset while making minimum payments to this loan, and then when you can, you score big or something like that, or you just end up paying it off. Then you get to a point where it's like, boom, now you have that loan paid off. And in some cases, it's a line of credit. Stop it. Stop it. I don't want to play right now. So it's almost like a line of credit, and that you pay it off and you can still go ahead and use it again, which
Right.
is what I
But
did with
the
the latest
caveat is that
the YOLO Move 2 for
you,
the cryptos. And I'm going ahead to pay that off here in the next by the end of the year.
yeah, but the key is to make sure that what you're borrowing for is worth it. Don't you probably, like, for instance, okay, if you get in a bind and you need 3 to 6 months of reserves to just buy you some time, I kind of understand that. But
Right.
if you're perpetually borrowing just to live off of it, you're gonna put yourself into a bind. You have to borrow and use that capital to put it into some assets that's going to bring you some money back.
And that YOLO move is actually down 43%, and I have lost money on that 10 grand that I put in. So I have lost $5,618.50. At one point, I forgot what the high was.
Mhm.
It was up. It was up in like at the height of the market. It was probably up close to 50%. I think it was up like almost 4 grand.
Preferably, yeah, the assets that you want to buy, you want to go from higher risk assets to lower risk assets. Preferably lower risk assets that kick off residual, like a dividend or some type of rental income or something like that. Some type of business income.
That's my next thing, and there will be conversations, but I got to keep it low key on some of that stuff. But I do want to share with people. I have shared with people in terms of what I'm like doing. But I do want to share as a way of like, again, we talk about in this space. My agenda is pattern recognition. A part of pattern recognition and reprogramming and resetting the minds of a lot of men, reclaiming choice, reclaiming emotion. Now we're starting to move towards where we're actually building and improving ourselves and making sure that we go into the latter years of our life more prepared for anything, whether it's a life of leisure, life of wife and kids, if you want to do that, or a life of fund your retirement, get a dog, be content. I made a video about that a while back.
You're
And
gonna need a resource. You're going to need a resource base to
no
operate
matter
off
what
of.
path you choose, right?
Yeah, and you're gonna need a well chosen network of people who are like minded too. So it's just a part of the game. If you want a higher quality of life,
Yeah.
you
I mean, like, and you talk about network, which is beautiful. People like Dollar Will, Lionel, Ulysses, and Mike V of the Black Brain Trust, MOT at one point of the Black Brain Trust. Who else? What's it called? Anti-Grav. I was think of his other name. Anti-Grav of the Black Brain Trust. Quite a few others. And sorry if I'm missing anybody. Like there's other people that I've met that have like kind of joined that sect for a little bit. So it's like building that network, your BGSs, your Edward Andersons, your Grinch, and other people within the space where we're making these networks and we're talking with one another and we're interacting, exchanging not just information, but coming together on things as well and helping one another as well. And I've definitely done that with working with other brothers in the space to try and make things happen. And then also turning those things into possible businesses. So that's another thing that's great about this space. And hopefully, talking with these people that we can actually go out and say this stuff, say, hey, listen, this is what we have done as a brotherhood. And this space has been the exchange point, if you will, or the trading post of sorts, where we've all met and come together on this.
whatever information you take in, make sure you apply it somehow, man. Don't be looking up 5 years later and you had all this great gain, but you ain't got nothing to show for it.
Speaking of great game, bro, tell me about this story that you were talking about with talking with the financial advisors.
Well, I talk like in some of my other inner circles, I always advise them because they see me post stuff about crypto and world economy and all that stuff. I always advise them um still try to get as much of an objective look to these things without relying completely on your own self study. And I always advise them, go check out regular financial advisors. Go actually have a conversation, quick 15-30 minute conversation with people at Fidelity or Edward Jones or all the people that they tell you to go see if you want to be responsible about your money, and just listen to them. Try to absorb any bias and all that stuff. I've been doing a lot of self study for years, um, and I kind of get a grasp of what's going on, and I also have just developed a good subscription to many different people who talk about these things all the time. So I went in.
one thing that's actually beautiful about what you just said, these people have spent years doing this stuff, and then they can actually give you a quick view or moments, a glance at the market and consolidate that down into a 15-30 minute conversation, talking
Mhm.
about where they want to put your money. And you can draw from that what you will. Go ahead.
Right. And your financial advisors, you always have to remember first, they're salespeople first. So it's kind of like if you know the proverbial thing, if you go into a mechanic and ask what's wrong with your car, they're gonna find something wrong with your car. If you go into um, uh, a barber and ask, do you need a haircut? Of course, they're probably gonna tell you need a haircut. So yes, first and foremost, these people oftentimes make most of their living off of financial advising, and they probably do not have. Oftentimes, they work with people who have higher net worths than they do, and oftentimes they probably don't have um, a portfolio that supplements them more than their job. So there's a vested interest to sell you something. Anyway,
Yeah, even if they do have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you get the best product, in some cases, at the end of the day, it still boils down to that their sales. Like it is the
mhm,
best product that they have, so they're not really lying in some cases.
right,
Person that
that
is a
is
financial advisor, if you want to say or correct that, go with it where you will. I totally understand, but if you want to correct that statement or push back, yo, let's start a conversation in the comment section. Go ahead.
so. Um, I went to one financial advisor, very sweet lady, and I asked her two basic questions. First question was, does she have a TIER level for information that she can share with potential clients depending upon uh, their status?
Uh huh.
If you didn't know, there's a such status called a accredited investor status. You have to achieve a certain amount of income per year. I believe right now for a single person is like $250,000 per year and up,
Uh huh.
in order to be considered an accredited investor status. I don't know all the people.
isn't that where it comes in where you have to have like $25,000 in an account or something like that as well?
That I'm not quite certain of,
Okay,
but
go
the
ahead.
accredited investor status is designed to protect people who are not very educated about or either liquid enough or educated to manage the risks of quote unquote high risk investments. The high
Right.
risk investments tend to be things that you have to buy in and lock into for a certain amount of time in order to receive a certain level of yield. Um, so her answer to that was yes and no. And she said yes and no because um, it honestly would not make sense for you to get into higher level investments. One thing she did drop was REITs, real estate investment trusts, things that which is kind of like security through the stock market in which you can uh, receive yield on their portfolio of real estate. Commercial
Yeah,
real estate,
Vanguard has one. There's
skyscrapers
quite a
and all
few different ETFs that are based off of that, or REITs that
that.
are
Right.
kind of like ETF
Um,
wise or something like that.
but it wouldn't make sense for somebody who's just getting to the game or who doesn't have a lot of capital to do it.
What's a
Um,
lot of capital? Like, give me a number on that.
at least 10,000.
Okay, go ahead.
Something you can generate a decent, revenue off of quarterly, something like that.
And guys, these aren't like exact numbers, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of ballpark figures, you
yeah.
know.
We're
So
ballpark.
whatever you guys want to put and plug in the numbers, but I want to like get people to understand like what you would need or what you possibly would need and where it makes sense. Because what that tells you is, hey, if you don't have this, get to that point,
Gives you a
you're
goal to
gonna have
get to
to
that
do
level.
other things, such as you said, improving your skills, getting better jobs, and things like that.
hmm So that was the first question, and for her specifically, I don't know if this goes for all financial advisors. her answer was yes and no, but it doesn't really make sense to kind of talk about those bigger levels of investments if you don't have the capital or liquidity to work with them. So she's going to put you in something more conservative. Maybe, what we call blue chip stock or um, money market accounts and things like that.
Yeah, and those conservative, they're gonna yield a lower, they're gonna yield a lower rate of return,
Yeah,
but they're also gonna yield usually a more steady, smoother, non-volatile rate of return.
and they're great for people who already, in a sense, have massive portfolios anyway. Like if you got $1 million and you put it into a fund that's yielding you 5% a year, um, you know what? That's was it 50,000 maybe? I want to think my math may be off.
Life of a Grandmaster Troll,
Uh-huh.
whatever, bro. But where the Black Manosphere at? I mean, we're right here, bro, and talking about money. So hopefully your money's looking good, bro. At
Yeah,
this point, you just gotta laugh. You know, it is what it is, man. Whether
it
you
is
talk
what
about it
it
or not.
is. So the second question I asked her is that I'm in a place in my life where I'm trying to aggressively build a reserve, an income, or capital, whatever you want to call it. And I asked her, is there anything of her knowledge base that yields residually 20% per year? And she was like, right now in this market, there's not really anything that she knows that does that. Um, and so that got into another part of the conversation where she said probably the best place that you can get some yield on your capital is counterintuitive. What she said was pay down your debts because your credit card debts is 20-some%, 30-some%, things like that.
When I read that message, that stuck out to me because one, that's what I'm doing, but it was just like it's one of those where I talk about there's two ways of making more money. Either you budget and you look through your budget and you look through your finances and you cut off things or cut down things that are maybe excess. Maybe like you cut down your internet usage or your internet plan, your phone plan, blah blah blah. Different phones consolidate in certain areas or find new services that are cheaper, cut the cable cord, blah, 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 right? Or you go make more money, like have another job or go and get a job that's higher paying, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, when you said that, I was just like, yo, again, we talk about that.
Yeah, you flipping the interest back in your favor instead of it going out. That's 20% that you're saving, or 30% that you're saving.
Mhm.
However, getting into more of just a U.S. dollar or just a cash position is cool. You're saving on interest that you will be paying and all that stuff. However, you're still dealing with the inflation aspect. So what happens is that yeah, you may be saving a certain amount of percentage, but as opposed to the rest of the economy that's requiring more of your capital, you're still creating a gap. Now, if you didn't pay that debt, that gap would widen much broader, faster. But when you pay that debt, you're kind of slowing down the broadening of the erosion of your capital.
Right, because you're playing again, you're fighting against inflation because all right, as inflation is going out of control, your money's worth less. So it takes longer in some cases to pay off that inflation and interest rates. It takes a little bit longer to pay off a lot of that stuff. So then it takes hold on, let me just do this, get this out of the way. Uh maybe I shouldn't do this, but well, no, it's just public anyway. But it takes a little bit longer to pay some of that stuff off, especially if you're just getting your usual 3% raise every year, right? And if you're not making enough money or more money every year, or you're making more than enough in terms of abundance, and you could pay down on that even faster, then you're screwed in the long term. It's going to take you 10 years just to pay off a $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000 credit card because you're just not making enough. With that being said, I got one question here. Tony Garia, and I'm sure that's butchering the name. Hello, all. Divorced 50-year-old childless guy here. Decent income, save about half my income and invest. Hoping to retire in a few years and move to South America. All right, man. He's a nomper,
That's
man.
good
Nothing
stuff.
over my passport or passport, bro, if you will. So that's cool, bro. I mean, and that's kind of what you want to do is if you can you have that long-term plan of saying, okay, I have quite a bit of money. I've paid off a lot of debt. I'm living more a simple, streamlined life. A lot of the stuff that was testosterone based in terms of my decisions, in terms of like, okay, money, cars, clothes, and hoes and stuff like that, or wherever you are in your life or were in your life. Now you're saying, okay, now I can take this money and I'm putting it towards the latter part of my life. What's quote unquote the end, if you will, and you know, it, not to be morbid or anything like that, but we have to, especially as men, we have to be what I like to call temporal beings or temporal thought, forward thinking, time based thinking. We're not just thinking about the past, the present, and then a little bit into the future. We're thinking farther into the future and talking about like 10, 20 years down the road. When I'm 50, I'm 36 now, going to be 37. And when I'm 50, 60 years old, what's going to happen? I remember like this whole MGTOW retirement, how it started, and mentioned MGTOW, God bless and God rest his soul. He got at me in the comment section, but I said, what's going to happen when you're sick? And I made a part 1 and part 2 on that. And Vincent got on me. He's like, so you're gonna get married just because you want somebody to take care of you in your latter years. But my point of all of that was putting money aside to make sure the money takes care of you. And I explained it to him, and he was just like totally cool. So that brother has passed, one of the greats in the space, the MGTOW space. I am a MGTOW.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can't
go
get
ahead.
your time back, but if you play it right early, you can buy your time. Permitting you don't have health issues, of course.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing, especially with a general of the space, Kevin Samuels passing away, with hypertension being one of the possible causes that led to possible heart attack or heart complications. Um,
Stress is a real thing, man. Stress is a real thing.
Yep, stress,
So
banging all those Red Bulls back and stuff like that. That was one thing. That's the first thing I thought of when it happened. And I remember, bro, I stopped drinking Red Bull and energy drinks. Like I take 5-hour energy drinks every so often on long trips, but that's about it. Like even this morning, I took one. I only took like half of one going there, and then one coming back. It was like an hour and a half long trip to go to the damn strip club. And on the way back, I only took half of that shit because I wanted to sleep when I got home. And I only go to that club every so often. And because of that, I'm actually thinking about buying a house in Savannah or Hinesville, Georgia, just so I could be closer to these hoes. Because I don't want to drive an hour and a half to get to a fucking strip
to go
club.
see to go see some of that wiggly jiggly ass.
Yeah, like we were talking in the chat, and I'm classic. Was like, yo, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And then he was like, oh, so the top head won this time. And I came back and I said, ultimately, the bottom head has
Bottom head wins.
the bottom head prevailed. I only spent $240. Had good conversations and just topped it up with some of the girls in there. And it's kind of crazy. One of the chicks where I was like, yo, your life is actually depressing and like it fucked me up. She was listening to me. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later now I go into the club. This bitch talking about how she's budgeting herself. She's
Uh-oh.
cutting down her weed habit. I said, bitch, you need to dance and keep your job and think about doing OnlyFans. And she's like, yo, I'm still at my job. And then I looked at her nails. She hadn't got her fucking nails done. Like they were just her regular fucking nails. And I said, I'm helping these hoes out.
Oh.
Shit is crazy. And I used to always tell people, bro, I'm not Captain Save a Hoe, but I am Mr. Help a Bitch Out. I'll throw you a rope, but you're gonna have to climb up that motherfucker.
Hey, like the Dave Chappelle meme says, modern problems require modern solutions.
Yep. Yeah, and like you know what? And I told her that, and like she was actually legit listening, and I was like, all right, cool. I was talking to. Let's get to this comment. Helmet Chili. I remembered years ago drinking 4 Red Bulls back to back. Craziest feeling. Never drank since, bro. I remember I drank a Monster or Red Bull at the time, and I fell asleep with my eyes open.
Jesus.
I said, We're not like literally. I'm staring at this wall. My eyes are straight open, but I'm sleeping. But I see everything that's going around. Like my brain stopped. Like or something shut off. I was like, "Yo, glitch."
Yeah,
Shit.
energy drinks they have to be done in moderation, and really they're for people who live very active lives, not just mentally active but physically active, because their system can absorb that stuff faster. And it from what I learned or what I experienced when I was heavy into the full sugar energy drinks is yes, for a while they help to compensate for your rest gaps, but eventually you're gonna have to get back to getting some more sleep.
Yeah, you have to. You
You
have to
have
give your
to.
body that rest. Like
Yeah.
even today, I was supposed to do some work with some brothers today, and because of some things being thrown off, I was like, bro, I'm gonna eat and take a rest, and I'll handle
Yeah.
this later. Like
Yeah,
even
especially when
after
you start
this.
creeping more into middle age, man. The 1 hour, 2 hour naps is the truth. They,
Oh man,
hey,
bro.
they were onto something when we was in pre-K. We was up there fighting all that damn sleep during for nap time.
Uh
And
huh.
now shit, now you get older and you realize, oh shit, they knew something.
Yeah.
We
Or
didn't know.
like in Spain, they have siestas and shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. A different culture, Latin
Yeah.
American culture. But yeah, man, I only wanted to drop in for a little bit. The main things that I wanted to leave y'all with is it's you versus you. The market is just these markets are just instruments. Avoid high short term um, offers on social media, especially by some dude that you knew was maybe deep in too deep into MLM, or he's a former trapper or something like that.
Mhm.
Probably not your best idea to get in those opportunities and wager your phone bill or car note bill
Mhm.
for a possible 500% gain in a week um, in crypto. Probably not the best idea to do that. And what else? Go have a conversation with financial advisors. Just listen with an open ear.
Hey,
Actually, no, I don't. I'm more in the shadows.
see, this motherfucker. I'm more in the shadows, bitch. Yo, listen, you're like Freeman Journal, bro. Always in the chats, always in the comment sections,
Hey,
dropping gems,
hey,
and then comes on other people's shit,
I
and
show
they're
up.
like,
I
yo,
show up when I show up, man.
yeah, like this motherfucker here, like Darkwing Duck, like
Well,
just
tell you what, I'll throw you guys a bone. I don't do it anymore, but I had a podcast on what's called the Bashani Network, BSHANI, and the podcast is called Real Talk with AH3. And so I would just cover different topics about effective male living from my personal experience. So you can go type in Bashani Radio, BSHANI Radio, and look for Real Talk with AH3. Real Talk with AH3. And dig into the archives over there. And, you kind of get a peek into my mind, my world.
yeah. And you're also pretty big on I can't
Instagram.
find it. Yeah, you're pretty big on other social media too. I know I follow you on Instagram. I don't know if you want to give up that information here. Um, yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
Instagram. I don't know my dang it, I don't know my tag on Instagram. But the name is Alvin Alvin Hollinger Holllinger third. And you should be able to match up my name with my face and go from there. Go from there. All
Hey,
right.
really chilly. If you found it, man, if you can give us that link, that'd be great. I'm not sure if you're a moderator. I can mod you up pretty quick here. Yeah, I'm gonna mod you up pretty quick. And if you can just drop that link here, that would be great. because then that way other people can view his content and listen to his voice and everything else like that. He's definitely a brother that, since we started talking, we've done stuff in the past on this channel. And he's definitely a brother that, you want to keep close, especially when it comes to the financial stuff and some of the things that he does where he's using, just what's it called? Oh, Bashani. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it. I was using me. So that link is in the chat. Is there anything else? I don't want to hold you in any longer.
Nah, man, we're good. Keep your eye on the crypto market. This is actually a part of the crypto market where all the rookies check out, but this is where the money's made. Honestly, this is where the money's made. Can't give you a timeline on how that happens. What I can tell you is that historically, within 1.5 to 2 years, your big boys, they'll probably move up about 4 to 5 times. And then some of your more established altcoins, you talk about 100x, 1000x, x like times. Like what you put into it, that's how much x it goes up. And that's what makes me excited about this market. On this third turn that I'm doing right now, I'm now implementing and using this market to learn how to be more of a technical trader, how to use charts, and traditionally, and how to and have exit strategies around that, so that I can see what market sentiment is like with experienced mentors. So hopefully this go round is the one that punches me more into that life changing category. I paid bills with crypto gains, but this go round I'm trying to buy assets with crypto gains and set me into a different level. So
Yeah. And I think that's very important. Not just not just acquiring assets, but holding assets and then even strengthening those asset classes wherever they may be, along with diversification and stuff like that.
yup.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
until next time, good people, I will catch up with you guys later, and y'all be well.
Alrighty, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining.
Peace, peace. Mhm.
Yeah, sorry for the little audio issues around, with his mic. I'll talk to him. I'll let him know about that. But so thank you guys for sticking with it. It wasn't that bad. We could hear him and everything like that. I know audio quality for some people, they go crazy. For me, he wasn't cutting out. He was just it's just the background noise. But he'll hear it on playback, so he can actually correct that. But he's definitely a brother that I always keep close. Line of MGTOW, man. No, I don't own these properties, but I'm actually working to maybe acquiring properties pretty soon. And with in terms of like income and everything, uh, I may be actually able to get a property at like say 250K or so, 200 grand, and pay it off in 2 years. You know, if I can, if I can actually make this work, I can build a decent portfolio. And it's something that Freeman's Journal has talked about quite a bit on his channel and on my channel as well. We had that social programming talk or discussion where we talked about social programming and people being programmed to give up access or give up, them wanting to give up ownership of something, of assets, of a home. Now that you're like, I'd rather rent and get these places with these exorbitant rents and stuff like that. Me, listen, I'm trying to get another property at this point. Again, it fueled by hose, I guess. But last night, I mean, I have to drive an hour and a half from where I live to Hinesville, Georgia, which is around Fort Stewart, and I have to, and that's an hour and a half, and it's like, okay, then afterwards, I still got to drive back home. I don't want to get a hotel room. That's like $100 a night. Blah blah blah. And I mean, if you like look at it, this mortgage on one of these places divided by 30 days, $46 a day. So yeah, if I get a home, that's like $46 a day. I'll be there on the weekends mostly, and it'll just be another property. I can rent out one of the rooms, and I can be in there, every so often. Line of MGTOW, exactly, bro. Ownership is important. Not ownership of people, not ownership of things and other materialistic bullshit, but ownership of assets, things that you can actually pass down. I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he was telling me about how his his grandparents live. Sorry, I just heard something. His grandparents live in a house that's been passed down through generations. And I'm thinking about my property. I have my 18 acres here and everything, and I can pass this property down to my my successors over time, even if it's just my nephew or anything like that. And that would be super nice if I could do something like that, something that's always going to be here as long as they keep it up and so on and so forth, and it doesn't fall into disrepair. Even so, even if the house falls into disrepair, you could always you could always build another one or just get a mobile home, but you got 18 acres of land to do whatever the fuck you want on, even if it's just to buy land. I was looking at one of these properties, man, here. And one thing that hold on. One thing that I saw that was interesting is on this property here in Savannah, Georgia. I live in a very rural area, and I want to not move, but I want to have a home in a more just established area where it has clubs and other amenities and shit like that. So I can just do a little staycation, work from there, work from home, work from anywhere really, and have a whole setup to where I can go back and forth if I wanted to, and then just rent out 1 or 2 rooms, and then that way I could build up my little portfolio. And over time, the next house that I get will just be straight rental. It's not for myself, and kind of treat it like a timeshare, if you will. One thing I thought was, and I'll get to the comments in a second. But one thing I thought was pretty cool is if you look at the lot lines for this. There's an empty piece of property right here. I want to buy that. If I get this house, I would buy that. Now, something that was very interesting, Freedman Journal talked about a while back on the discussion that we had and how he looks for properties and everything like that. He said, hey, listen, I got a piece of property where I got the property, and then I can actually build a whole nother property on the extra land. I'm thinking about that with this. Buy this house, buy the land next to it, eventually build a house right next to it, and then go ahead and rent that out. Freaking beautiful. Tony Guria, I often think about buying a small mobile home. Yeah, you can buy a small mobile home or prefab home or something like that and put it up on blocks, and then that point it's an actual static fixture. Line of MGTOW I'll get to you in a second. Short answer is yes. But it's a static fixture that you can actually what's it called? Or a static piece of property that you can always it's considered like it changes from a mobile home to an actual residence once you put it on blocks, because now it's permanent, and then that actually increases value over time. I think with that property. Now with these prefab mobile homes, if you can get somebody to destroy it or haul it off or what have you, bro, you can just put another one right there. You go to Clayton Homes, you can get a $60,000 to $70,000 single wide home, and just drop it on a piece of land, and that's it. Put a nice little skirt around it to protect the bottom so raccoons don't get underneath it and everything like that. And then that's it. I was actually thinking about doing that in the back where my barn was. I tore it down, and what the plan was to level the area and then put a single wide back there for my mom. Didn't work out that way, but whatever. That's good because the kids won't have to struggle to pay off the house. Exactly. They won't have to struggle to pay off the house. They can use the house for collateral later on. It could be you're not making any more land, so on and so forth. If you can actually have the foresight, again, being temporal beings, and I think I'm using the wrong word, it just sounds really nice, but being time-sensitive beings or people, we can actually look at this and say, hey, listen, I think this is going to happen into the future. I think this area is going to do great. Let me buy this land or piece of property. I was looking at 8 acres in the area for a possible idea as well. for a business that I wanted to buy into. And I tell people like I'm actually courting a business partner, and people are like, "What the hell? You're courting another man?" Like you go through that when you're talking to a business partner, doing a vibe check, if you will, see if this person could work with you. They'll listen to you, you listen to them, and then see and go from there. So get to your question. Do you use LandWatch? Yes, I love landwatch.com. I've actually done quite a few videos where I've gone into looking at landwatch.com. I've actually gone to quite a few pieces or parcels of land based off of landwatch.com in this area. I think there's a video where I was looking at 400 acres of land. I didn't show the piece that I was looking at, but I showed the drive from that piece and how it was all dirt roads and it was all wet and stuff like that. And, you know, if you had a heavier truck at the time, I had my Ford Explorer. So I did go through that, and I've actually done exploration. And kind of the nice part, I think decent land, depending on the area, is like $1,000 an acre. Anything less than that, like, is usually trash land, and you have to look at things like actually, let's see here. Let me see if I can do this. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I'm just gonna copy and paste that into this window here. Oh, that's a nice piece. I like this plugin. Every time I open up a new tab, it shows something new from ArtStation. So I used to do that a lot in terms of when I did streams. All right, cool. So landwatch.com. So, you know, you can go on here and look for different properties in the area. For me, for instance, we got 62 acres at 185 grand. You know, that's well over the $1,000 an acre mark. So it's like, okay, what does that actually have? So 185, 690 divided by 62 acres, you're looking at almost like $3 grand per acre. So now what's important that you have to do with something like this, line of MGTOW, I know when you do your videos, you'll do like open lots and stuff like that, bro. And I don't know what you, you know, you don't have to share it, but I don't know what you do with that. Actually, let me get to some of these questions. Yeah, and you can't put things in your will where the land can't be sold for a certain time, ergo 100 years after your death. Yeah, I've never thought about that. And that's like, you know, even dealing with a trust as well to protect some of your assets for long-term wealth. My biggest thing is, even if I do get somebody that not like do the ceremony, get married, but not the actual state license. But if I do get somebody like that, I would sit down with them and say, hey, listen, what do you want if we ever break up? You know, like let's get that out of the way now, so you understand what you're getting. And then also the biggest thing is, a lot of people will divorce one another and they rob themselves of their wealth. They rob their children of the wealth. For instance, my mom, she had a home and pretty much lost that, and she had probably about 370 or 310 grand worth of equity that she pretty much lost because of mismanagement and all types of other stuff. Can't tell her nothing, blah, blah, blah. And she lost that. But then what could that have been for her and then us as children later on? You know, getting 100 grand out of nowhere, you know, split between 300 grand split between 3 children, or she can get another home and stuff like that. Didn't want to listen, whatever. But that's what happens in a lot of these divorces. So yeah, you're looking at $3 grand an acre. Okay, I'm getting a lot of stuff here. All right, cool. Lots of ways to pass that property to your loved ones and have it stay. True. Question, do you work from home mostly? Work from home 100%, baby. That's how I can afford a damn diesel 2500 truck, yeah. But yeah, 100%. I get calls from recruiters all the time. And bro, I'm telling you, watch out for something that's probably going to happen on the Brain Trust. But, you know, and what's it called? And I work from home 100%. I get recruiters calling, hey, this is a hybrid position. Day one, you got to be in Atlanta. No, don't want it. I don't want it. I'll take less money, work from home, than taking more money, having to go into an office. Fuck that. I'm not doing it no more. Not happening. Fuck it. Land with water source is valuable. True, but there's a problem with that. And I'm going to go over that in a second. Maddox 12, man. Hello, brother. Thank you. Where's Sheed at, man? Sheed usually comes in and says we're here. So this property is $2,995 or almost $3,000 per acre for this 62 acres. So let's go ahead and look at this. This is Swanee Chapel Road, Waycross, Georgia. Beautiful property. You got your little swamp, so you know that's your mosquito creation there. So what this shows me here, this is a marshy, swampy area. You have a lot of timber. This is a decent timber stand. It looks like in the distance they may have some more timber here. I'm not sure if this is a part of that 60-something acres. It would be nice to have this maybe for hunting, and you can actually rent it out for that, but you don't get much. And it's to me, it's not worth the liability. And I'm going over a lot of concepts, and you can look in some of my old videos where I talk about buying land and what I go through. So you look at something like this, and I was like, okay, I looked the marsh. You can have, this is what they call like flat ponds, I think. So it's not a pond that has serious depth. You can go in there with water boots. And yes, I'm adjusting my nuts. Sorry about that. Saw that on camera. But you know, you can go in there with water boots and wade through that, and may even go as high as maybe your waist or something like that. So nothing too serious. But what this shows me is that you're going to have a lot of runoff from the road. You're going to have to do a lot in terms of, you're probably doing ecological study. So if you wanted to regrade this or something like that and add a dry spot or find a dry spot, it's going to be hard. And also you'll notice, if we do look at aerial views, if I can get to that, that you'll see where they plant the timber, and then where they plant the timber is actually the dry spots, which is crazy. In one property that I was looking at, it was like 160 something acres, and then there was another 170 acres. So it was almost like getting close to 400 acres, like 307, 300, almost 340, I think. No, it was a lot. It was a lot, and it was two parcels right next to one another. So if you bought both of them, but the shit was a big ass, pretty much a fucking swamp. All right, so let's look at more pictures here. All right, cool. So you can see where they you can see, you should see my mouse. You can see where they planted timber, right? So you have some young seedlings. These are less than, just looking at them, not even on the ground, but I can tell that they're less than 5 years. With this, you can harvest the straw, and you can harvest straw every couple years. You're gonna have to thin this out, and then you can sell that timber. Timber probably goes at probably about $2,000 an acre from my last research. Again, MGTOW retirement series. If you look at the playlist, I do have where I went a little bit deeper into this, and I talked about it and read articles and stuff like that. It was a part of my timber series. Thing is, do you own water rights outright? Most cases you kind of do, but you're really renting water rights per, local municipality, local state government, and federal government guidelines, like storage of water, that rainfall and stuff like that. So you can have that pond all you want. Even in Georgia, like I have my pond, I have two ponds on my property. One is 3 acres in the front, and the other pond in the back is 1 acre. And in Georgia, you can't have, if you make a pond, unless it's for like cattle or something like that, or something else, you can't make a pond any greater than 1 acre now. So that's like something new. So there's like, when you're actually building a pond and putting it all together, like I don't know if you have to have permits per se, but it is something that you have to be wary of, because they're going to come, especially with the tax assessor. They're going to come, they see what was on the property before, and then they're going to appraise you accordingly, and then tell you to either, fill in the pond a little bit or something. But you do have to, you have to worry about that in certain states. All right. Or are parts owned by the government in some areas, so it's shared? Yeah, it just depends. When you're buying land, you can actually have different rights. So you can buy land, but then the mineral rights are sold. So then you can buy or oil rights or gas rights, all that stuff are sold off. So you bought the land, but then a truck starts coming on your fucking land and starts mining, pulling out gas and all this other shit, and then you're fucking screwed. So you have to make sure you acquire all rights with your land. What if you find gold? Well, shit, just don't tell nobody. But yeah, you found it. And that's mineral rights, right? So that should fall under mineral rights. So you have to make sure that you actually have your rights free and clear for anything on that property. I grow hemp since on that land, since it will replace toilet paper in the future. Whatever you want, whatever you think is a cash crop, man. One of the things that I always talked about is long term. So if you're looking at timber stands and you want to sell this for paper or something like that, you're looking at a 15 to 30 year, maybe every 10 years or so, you do some thinning and you make some money off of it. But 30 years is your maturity for timber. So it takes a long time. So if you're buying land, you're not going to do anything with it, at the bare minimum, 30 years. Somebody shot. That's weird. Anyway, well, not totally weird out here in Georgia, but somebody shot a gun. So hopefully I don't hear news about, like, my neighbor killing one of each other in a fit of rage or some shit. Hold on. I mean, hey, listen, man, when you live in the country, you keep that son bitch with you just in case. So got that AR there. Where the fuck is my mag? Give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back. Yeah, like I'm serious about my shit. I'll talk to y'all. Give me a sec. Oh, I only got a couple shots in this son bitch, but oh shit, that's fireworks. Hey man, fuck around if you want to. It's here, bitch. I only got a couple shots. Is that shit unsafe? Yeah, that shit's unsafe. But yeah, I keep that shit right on the wall or right above my fucking machete. And that's because I have a fucking beaver in my pond, and I always need to have it close so I can shoot the motherfucker. Yeah, back to our regularly scheduled programming. But yeah, it takes about 30 years to get to maturity. So let me get through this. LOM, good question. And other precious minerals. Yeah. And that's one thing that you have to be wary of when it comes to getting land, making sure that you have all rights free and clear on that property, and you get that from the owner, the previous owner, and understanding that, and that's where it's definitely good to have somebody that a real estate lawyer. Different states have title or real estate lawyers, but either way, you should have somebody that looks over the paperwork and make sure you have all your rights to your property. You damn right. You damn right. You damn right. All right. Rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You goddamn right. The only thing I didn't do properly is not have the mag close. That's because I switched around my desk, so I got a new desk in here. So a lot of that stuff is over there. I have 5 of them. I used to have 6. I used to have 6 guns, man. 5 ARs, 4 AR-15s, 1 AR-10, and a 45 pistol. I still have the 45 pistol. That's my truck gun, or that's like my in-vehicle gun. And then I have my AR-10, my 300 blackout, or AR-15, the chambered in 300 blackout, and this AR-15, which I call brown sugar. Ain't nothing sweet about her though. And then the AR-10 is chambered in 308. All right, cool. My thoughts exactly. All right. So when you're coming for something like this or coming for land, and we'll get further into this, you could tell these are the dry areas. And this is something I noticed in my review of like parcels of land. They will only plant on the dry areas because that's the areas that they can get to. Otherwise, all this shit here, best believe they've already looked at all the flood maps and everything in the area. This shit, when it rains, is fucking swamp. It is a big ass flat pond. That's one fucking thing. And we'll go over that, and it'll probably prove me right with that. So it doesn't drain well. All right, so we can see that we have a nice road going through it. I don't know if this is the actual still property. We have to look at the property lines, but we have a decent logging road going through it. So for harvesting, that's a big deal. There's a lot of land that's harvest area or harvesting around it. So this means like even if you do build a homestead on there, you're going to be the only one in that area for the most part. So don't expect your property value to go up. Don't expect to get good internet. You're going to have to get some Viasat or maybe Starlink or some shit like that. I think coconuts would grow good in that environment. Southeast Georgia, I'm not sure. You let me know. Pecans is another one. What about growing coffee? I'm not sure. Well, I know you're not asking me that, but it depends on what the area is. You know, the environment has to, of course, support that. And you can actually look that up on some websites where they actually tell you, like, hey, what are cash crops in certain areas? Alma, the city of, or the next city, one of the next cities over, smaller town, Alma, Georgia, they're known for blueberries. They're like the blueberry capital of the world, but they have like really sandy, I think, acidic soil or something like that. So a lot of this stuff is clay. It's not really like good soil per se. But you could do pecans, but pecans take a while. And there was actually a pecan orchard that I still wish I could get. And there's like 10 acres of it, and that'd be nice. And there was actually a home next to it too. Beautiful, beautiful fucking piece of land. Jesus Christ. Yeah, keep on going. You have good road access. That's another thing, right? So you have good road access. You have decent drainage. It's draining into your fucking property, by the way. And it keeps doing this view. So that's your property is what they're showing. Of course, they're showing it in spring, so it looks great. It's going to look fucking dead as shit in winter, of course, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, you could possibly drive. Yeah, you should be able to drive on this property and drive through it. Yeah, those are fireworks. But yeah, it looks nice, looks pristine. I mean, you know, if you go out there, you can get a little shed, you can get a small building put out there. $12,000. My workshop is a 12-foot by 36-foot workshop with I think 8 or 9 foot sidewalls or something like that. I think it's like 8. Yeah, maybe 7. Yeah, so I don't know, but decent sized sidewalls. No, yeah, 7-foot sidewalls because I'm not that tall. And you can have them drop that building, put some solar panels out there, and some batteries and stuff like that. You can have that as your garage or your or what have you, and you can fucking go out there, fucking ATVs, tear that son of a bitch up, go through that bitch. If you have some deer and all types of other stuff, yo, it could turn it into a recreational spot for you. Again, 185K, so you know you have to work out the loans. Usually, the loans for a property like that would be like a 15-year loan term. Again, I went over this in previous videos. All right, so we have 16 pictures to go through. And you guys can find this, landwatch.com. You can look in your local area. This is nice. Hey, stop it. Calm down, calm down. So this is nice. You have these like little stands where you can probably view, you can hunt from. So that's already there. I don't think some of these stands sometimes, these deer stands are portable, so they will take them with them. So what a lot of timber companies do is that they actually have hunting clubs, and another way to make money. Okay. I'll do some research. I can't access that site for some reason. Landwatch.com? Damn, that sucks. Sorry. Are any other alternatives? Not that I can think of. There's this one site called like 1982 or some shit like that. 1982 or 1986? I forgot what it was called. There's this website where it had a lot of stuff on there. Damn it, man. Was it 18? I used to have a lot of this shit saved, and I don't know what happened. Yeah, maybe I can put it in the description. Definitely, this is probably the best place to go. If you can find something better, please let me know. I don't know of anything, but landwatch.com has, and we'll go through some of the tools that they have. So get access at all, what's it called, at all costs on this. But some of these things are portable, so they can take it with them and put it on other places. Hopefully it's permanent. But what the timber companies would do is the way they would make money is like bees. You can have beehives on there if you wanted to, and have the person have access to it. Um, that's another thing, and maybe even get some credits. Oh yeah, it probably could be your VPN. Yeah, okay. I was about to say get a VPN so you can get access, but it could be your VPN. So yeah, see what that does. They would have bees on there. You can do hunting. Give people hunting rights during deer season. And you get a couple. It's not that much money, but there's a lot of liability. Yeah, it was VPN. Okay, cool. Um, there's a lot of liability with that, and you have to have the proper insurance because anybody gets hurt on your land, you're liable for it. So you have to have the right insurance, and you have to let your insurer know that you're actually renting your property out. Also, you have to have them sign waivers and all types of other stuff. Okay, again, I've been through some of this. Even people wanting to hunt on my land. Hey, stop it! Calm down. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Again, so the marsh, the flat ponds. You see, you can easily walk right into this. So you can see this is the edge of the planted timber stands, and this is the stuff that's already there. Trucks aren't going to go in and harvest this. They can't. They're going to sink into the ground. So this, you can't do anything with this at all. And it's too marshy. The wood is probably rotting and all types of other stuff. Yeah, security life have to troubleshoot everything. Yeah, exactly. This is another nice view of everything. It looks like there's a property here across the street. So that's pretty cool. But you have a nice, well-established road. Again, you can drop your building, cut out a little small piece at some point. And if that's there, maybe they already have wired internet. Excuse me, depending on the road, especially if it's a more established highway, that's where you're going to have your fiber runs, and then you could tap into that. Call the local fiber company or the people that own that fiber. You can call the company. You can call the number that's on there usually for emergencies if you see the pylon is down because there's an accident or something. You ever see those white pylons with the orange cap on the top, and it's like half and half. But what it does, it's a marker for fiber runs, and if anybody crashes their car, you can use the number on that pylon to call the people that actually own that fiber. And that's another way that you can actually say, okay, yeah, doggy sounds ready for whatever. Yeah, that's my girl, man. She goes off. And that's one thing I don't try to like tell her to stop barking a lot unless it's like situations like this. But most because I want her as a guard dog, I don't try to like stifle her or give her those bark collars or anything. Right. So with those pylons, you can get the number off of there and probably find out who the ISP is and then have them actually give you service. It's going to cost you more money though. So you're going to most likely use satellite service or something like a cellular Wi-Fi or cellular internet service. And you can find decent routers or modems that actually have cellular capabilities. So you put a little SIM card or something like that, and then you can connect to the local cellular network. Maybe have one or two of those, available so that you can have redundancy, especially if you're working from home. Or what you could do is rent out an office space in town and work in town, and then come back home to your homestead. But it's up to you. That way, you can still kind of work from home, but you're working in your own place or what have you. All right, so we're almost finished with the pictures. So they have a feeder here. Let's zoom in on that. What? What is it? Why did it do that? It doesn't let me get to the image here. Anyways, I think you should be able to see that little feeder. Yeah, you can see that. That's a feeder. So they've been feeding the local wildlife, especially for hunting. So they have a nice clearing here where they haven't planted too much. So you can just pick off the deers from those stands and easily get to them. Let's reset that. All right, cool. All right, so now let's look at something line of MGTOW looking at the properties. So we can look at the map. So we can see that it is 58.66 acres. You can see how this area here, let's zoom in on that. And I don't want to use this zoom because it's going to, I want to blow up so you can see more of this. But you can see how this is always green. That's water. It's just sitting water there. And one thing with landwatch.com is if we zoom out, of course, you can see, Mount Olive Church, Methodist Baptist Church, or Methodist Church. What is this? What town is that? Is that Manor? Oh yeah, Manor. Okay. Valdosta Highway. So you have a main vein. You're a little bit off of that main vein. So this is not a well-known high, or this is not like a main vein highway or anything else like that. You got Homerville, and that's a nothing town. It's like very small. Waycross. So it's not that far from where I live. I live like up here in this area. So it's not that far from me right now. I can go ahead and drive out there right now and get bitten by every freaking bug there, and get to this piece of property. But this is what's important. Layers. You could do satellite terrain, and the biggest thing is flood. All right, click on that. All right, cool. So I am somewhat wrong here. Of course, the blue. Oh, come on. The blue is the flood area, the floodplains in the area. So this is usually, I think this is when they do ecological studies or what have you in the area, they can see what's going on with the water table. So a lot of water pools up in these areas and then drains down into the local aquifer. This looks like a pretty dry piece of land. What you could do is import dirt or even push dirt from one part of your property to another, and then actually dry out this area here or build a decent foundation on it to where it doesn't get eroded by the water. Some cases you're going to have to do ecological studies and pay the local municipality and for doing stuff like that. I don't know the total what's it called, I know you have to do the econ study, and with the econ study, it tells you what you can and cannot do on that property, and what you can do and what you're allowed to do in terms of making any changes to the local environment, and you have to stay within that. All right, cool. I'm just like going off the top of my head with that type of stuff. All right, cool. So we can see here we have a lot of dry land here. We can see if this parcel is available. We can always look up that. We could look that up on the county records to see who has this parcel. This right here, though, it's unusable. And you can kind of see, again, the everything else here is just mostly land. And this is quite a few years ago. It says 2022, but it doesn't tell me when the pictures were taken. It might have been in 2022. I've seen where pictures of my house, the Google Street View got my truck and everything. So they took a picture of my shit just within the last couple months. And I've only had that truck for maybe 3 months. All right. So I can tell. Ooh, here we go. I can tell with this, that's just all water. Out of your 60 acres, just expect that you're going to have a lot of flat ponds. You're going to have a lot of mosquitoes and all types of other stuff and bugs. This is mainly for hunting. You're not going to do much. This property, most likely worth more dry land. You could put more on this. Also, if you look in the area, it's, the water really doesn't touch it or pools in those areas. So this is a higher piece of ground, most likely. On econ studies, an ecological study, and you have to look that up. Again, I did a video on it, but no, did I do a video on this? No, I didn't do a video on this. I'm wrong about that. But with an ecological study is that you're going to have to look. Essentially, they're going to do a study on the effect of construction or your planned construction on the environment, and making sure that you don't hurt the environment or you make changes that will kind of like a give and take. So if you're making a change to like the water or drainage or anything else like that affecting wildlife in the area, then you're going to have to do something of, I think, like equal, not value, but like equal, an opposite react. How can I say this? If you're going to take, you're going to have to give as well in some way, shape, or form. Or you have to make sure whatever you're doing is not going to affect the local wildlife or environment that will cause any type of irreparable damage. So you have to deal with that. So even if you do like industrial stuff and stuff like that, um, or any type of storage, chemicals, and all that other stuff in the area, they worry about that because the chemicals will seep into the ground and then fuck up the water table in the area, especially in these areas where you have a lot of fucking blue, where there's the floodplain. All right, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, and snakes too, most definitely. You're gonna have a lot of water moccasins, which a lot of them are poison. Most water moccasins are poisonous, especially your cottonmouths and stuff. But that's landwatch.com. I love this website. 128 acres for 600 grand. Ugh, love it. Hey, what's up, Jody J? I know who you are. Hey, what's up, brother? Appreciate you joining. Yeah, recreational property, timber property, or timberland property, hunting property. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a little bit too much for that. 60 something acres. You're not going to get much in terms of, I just 185. I think that's a little bit too much. I don't know what's going to happen in that area. I've driven through that area. There's not much out there. It just doesn't make. Yeah, that's a little bit. Tweaking or changing historic waterways or disrupting could be disastrous. Yes. So thank you for adding that. But essentially, that's what happens with the econ study, because they're going to see what you're doing and how it affects the local environment to make sure it's not going to have long lasting irreparable effects, or disastrous effects, as you put it. But yeah, man, you can do a lot with landwatch.com. I love it. Again, I'm looking at different properties, 53 acres for 169 grand. So let's look at these pictures here. Ooh, reset. Okay. Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, this has been on there for a while. But you can see where there's just like a ton of water here. That lake is really nice, or that pond is really nice. And it looks like it's either natural or what have you, but I don't like the coloration so much, but it's not bad. That's probably pretty beautiful, but you can't really build anything close to it to even, view it. Like you're not going to build a home there. Sorry, you're not going to build a home in this area because it's going to be on freaking shaky ground pretty much. And then it's already been harvested. It doesn't look like it's been replanted. So you're going to have to go through and pay for that. And sometimes your seedlings or saplings are probably about $100 a piece or so. Some of the rows are still there. It's kind of thinned out quite a bit. So honestly, you probably want to chop all this stuff down, clear it out, and then replant the whole thing. It's 60 something acres, so this is part of it, and you go over here. You can see this is going to be another flat pond area. So that's a ton of water, marshy. That's going to be where some of your wildlife and game, some of your game will live. Lion of MGTOW says, looks great. Lion, let me give you. I never gave you. I don't think I gave you moderator status, but yeah. All right, cool. Let's do that. All right, cool. So yeah, and then again, this is really sandy, so this is nice. You could put, if you're a trucker or something like that, you can put your truck or trucks here. You do have to watch out for rain and what that's going to do. So you might want to build it up, put some rocks on it, so you can have some type of traction. But this being sandy, there's an area called Sandy Bottom around here. And Sandy Bottom is very sandy, and there's not much you can do in terms of growing any crops. Land OSINT. Yo, what is? I don't know what that means. You can also use some map apps to go back in time and view the land, ergo rivers. Oh, okay, cool. So that's land OSINT. Yeah, explain that a little bit, Helmet. That'd be great. because I'm not sure what that is. I've never heard of that service, if that's what it is. Oh, that does look great. Lion of MGTOW, good eye on that one. Like this looks nice right here. Especially like, okay, you have that rest of that land, and then you can, again, bro, you got family here and stuff like that. Yo, you get a dog or two. You could walk this land, and then you can make sure that, especially when you have animals around and you let them out. They usually help keep away a lot of snakes and other creatures that normally you'd have problems with. Open source intelligence, land open source intelligence. I love that. I never thought. Oh, okay, cool. I like that. It's just the security guys, man. That's what happens. I think about that stuff. Yeah, using satellite maps. Yeah, bro. I mean, all this stuff is free, bro. Satellite maps, county records. Once you find a county of where somebody lives, especially if it's like a small town, you can find their address and all that shit. That's probably how like Grandmaster Troll finds everybody. I'm probably next at this point. Talk shit about them. So yeah, you have all that property. This is this highway goes to like Jacksonville, pretty much, or takes you out of town and goes into Jacksonville. Very extremely pretty out there. Okay, right here, that is a train track. So yeah, you're gonna have trains. Think about that. That's probably another reason why this hasn't sold. Because this has been on the market for a while. But this is also next to the Okefenokee Swamp Reserve, which is 400,000 acres of swamp reserve that you have bears, bobcats, and all types of other wildlife living in. So you could live out here, but you better fence off your little piece, man, because something's gonna be in your shit, and you better have dogs, outside dogs too. None of that inside Frenchie poodle shit, or even like my dog, where it's mostly inside. Google Earth Desktop is pretty damn good for that. Yeah, Google Earth Desktop, you can do a lot with that, man. I remember when that product first came out. I loved when they made it like web capable or web accessible. Oh man, what else we have? 23 acres at 100 grand. That's a lot, man. I mean that. It better be that. I don't know. I mean, no, it's probably this, and that's somebody else's stuff, of course. So they got their stuff cleared out. That's most likely, or was maybe, not a garden, but a farm. Okay, so just zooming through these pictures here. Nice. I mean, the pictures look great, and you also have to. One thing when you're looking at a lot of these different homes, holy shit, or you're looking at a lot of these different pictures, you have to understand they use filters to make it look a little bit more green and lush. So that's another thing. It's like, for instance, with this home here, you can tell that brick, the color of the brick is a little bit more pronounced. Color of the brick is a little bit more pronounced. Some of the colors are a little bit more vivid. Like I can just tell like there's something off about this where they're making things like pop out at you a little bit more with the colors. Okay. Oh shoot, I gotta feed my damn dog. That's why it's probably like that. It's another reason why. All right, guys. Look through these pictures real quick. So okay, you got some paths. This would be the last property. Then I gotta go eat and then also feed the dog. You got these paths. You got these areas here, which is pretty nice. So you can, ATV tracks and stuff like that. Some of these properties are great when it comes to some of these properties are great when it comes to like, okay, I have this property and it's my second property. It's my recreational. It's my go there every so often. And it's even better, of course, if you live next to it. But you don't go out there very often. Maybe it's their gun range or something like that. I like wide open spaces. Like I can go to my backyard and shoot off my gun, and I could go to my front yard and shoot off my gun. And I've done that a couple times, especially when I'm hunting for this fucking beaver. But you can go there and just shoot off guns or whatever and do stuff. So definitely like something like that. Wakanda Forever teaser just dropped. Okay. Uncle D313. Hey man, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the chat here. Oh, that, and then there's the damn, what the Dungeons and Dragons, the D&D trailer dropped recently too, and I'm excited about that. I sent it to one of my coworkers. Um yeah, I sent it to one of my I sent it to a colleague, colleague. But I like to call him colleagues mostly. Sent it to my colleague, and then he was just like, "Bro, I thought it was kind of stupid, but then now I'm in." You dropping knowledge. I appreciate it, man. Bro, go back into my MGTOW retirement series. Let me see if I can find it on the channel. If you go to MGTOW retirement, this one is land exploration, 390 acres. That's just like, me viewing the property and seeing how it looks, or it pretty much, I'm talking about it, but you see how it looks where you're going into some of these properties on land. And that was a property that was on landwatch.com. Yeah, Timber Week. There we go. So it's like Shark Week. So Timber Week part 1, 2, 3A, 3B. One of these I actually read the article. It was just like, and then I went through and read the article myself as well. But I talked about some of the same things I'm talking about now. Just taking his sweet time. Huh. All right, could be like the internet or something like that. For profit questions. There we go. So harvesting pine straw for profit. So these are certain things that you can actually do with your land, and I went through some stuff like that. So if you want to get land, man, you can go ahead and do it, but it's gonna cost you, and it's gonna cost you in so many different ways. But yeah, those are pretty good videos. I would think, not just patting myself on the back there, but what you could do with timber and talking about that. All right, cool. But yeah, you can go to something like this. One thing I like to do is you can go, I think, here, and you can view. Can you view this as a map? Okay, then it starts to get into places with houses on them. No, you can't view a map of this. But you can start to say, hey, listen, I want something where it's recreational. There's no house, has a house. Doesn't seem like there's much in the area, though. So there isn't much commercial hunting. So like you could say hunting. Hunting would be nice. And then I'm going to sort by acres, large to small. 1,100 acres, $2.8 million, 1.3. So your 60 acres is probably closer to what I could afford personally. And I'll probably do 15-year payments on that, or 15-year, like a 15-year mortgage, if you will. Expansive. That's puck wood you can sell. Okay, yeah, you can do a lot with that. Like especially if you have like mixed wood and stuff like that, you can actually paper. I think Georgia is like, especially if you go to like on your way to Atlanta, you'll see like a lot of tree harvesting that's done. And Georgia, I think, is like one of the number one producers or one of the top producers in the country for paper, or paper wood, like wood and stuff like that. It just, I mean, like a lot of people just like live in the metropolitan areas and it's not as developed. And then of course there's not as much water and swamp like with Florida, and it's drier, higher land. So especially when you get to like Atlanta, you start to see the rolling hills. Down here in Southeast Georgia, you might see elevation changes, but it ain't nothing like when you go, like you start to drive in like into Atlanta and you start to see the Appalachian Mountains or the tail end of the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah, it's different, bitch. That shit ain't flat. I mean, for me as a Florida boy, where we coming from, like shit is flat. Like, whoa, that shit was crazy. I used to stay in Missouri too. Expensive land could be potential for retreats, other outdoor activities. Yeah, and one of the biggest things is like you can get it and also be strategic with the property and the piece of land. There's a lot of land for sale in the USA. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places where people are, everything is metropolitan. People don't want to live out away from the city areas or anything like that. So being temporal minded or time minded, you can start to say, hey, people are going to want to move back out there, or there's going to be things that can be done out in those places. And you see, like, there's very few things you can do in these areas, but the people that do them, like, do it very well, and they have a shit ton of fucking land. And also, you can just get a fucking piece of, like, a nice big ass property and just live on it. There's some people with 300, 400 acres, and that's what they live on. This one's a little bit higher, less acreage, so most likely more dry land. You can see also where the timber is actually planted, so that's nice. Won't go through all the pictures. We're gonna go straight to the map here. Yeah. So this is the piece that was right next to the other one that we're looking at, and as you can see, less acreage, but it goes for more money because you have a lot more dry land. Now, this is where I'd buy both of them. Like that, I would buy both of these motherfuckers if I could. So you have 61 acres here, and then you have this other. I think it's like this is 61. Yeah, 61.8, and then the other one was like 62. Bingo. Yeah, you see it. So this is where I'd buy that piece of land. I'd buy this, and I'd buy the one next to it. Now this land, this right here, becomes valuable or worthwhile because I can actually just live on this, do whatever I want to, and then still have something like a water source, if you will. Maybe cut down the trees. You also have to understand, again, econ studies will reveal all this stuff. I went into it a little bit. I want to say I did it on the video, but I can't tell you which one. Maybe that's something that we can get into. Not on this video, though. But, trees hold water or retain water or keep water in certain places. So, and then stop also erosion of water or of land as well. So that's something that you want to consider. Sorry. So that's something you want to consider, because if you take down some of these trees and then, encroach in on some of the wetlands, if you will, or these flat ponds, then that could cause erosion of the land because you're not going to fill it in or anything else like that. And you're not going to do anything with that. Like, you got a 60 something fucking acres, I could say roughly 15, definitely not 20%. We can actually view this. Can we view this in Google? Ooh. Let's view this in Google. Give me a sec. I just have to do it off screen because then you guys are going to see all my porn links. But, I mean, why hide it if I just told you that I have a whole bunch of fucking porn links? Whatever. Keeping it child friendly. Ain't no kids watching this. Maybe my nephew. All right, let's find this property. Midway. Oh. All right, let's see what's around here. Mount Olive Church. It's near Homerville. That's one thing. Some places are defined as, I used to say, a small town, big town. If you see $1 General, it's a small town, or a township. If you see $2 Generals, that bitch is a city. Like, that's just how it is out here, man. If you see a Dollar General, maybe one or two Circle K's or some shit like that, yeah, that shows that there's people living around this bitch, because those are places. When they talk about real food deserts, like, these are food deserts. Like, there's no Whole Foods out here. Nobody can afford Whole Food prices. So people talk about food deserts in the middle of fucking cities, and it's like, bitch, you're fucking crazy. You like go to these, like, Mount Olive Church should be right about here. Yeah, go to these like these small towns and talk. Now you talk about food desert. Victory Methodist Church, Church of Christ, Church of Jesus Christ. Meter. Oh, okay, that's why. Sorry. There's probably a better way of doing this. All right. And oh, found it. There we go. All right, cool. Hope he's artwork there. All right, let me get back to the chat here. How close is this to Florida, or is this more central GA? No, this is southeast GA. So this is closer to Waycross, Georgia, and Waycross is 45 minutes from the Florida border, and an hour. I was about to say 130, an hour 30 minutes from Jacksonville. So I can be in Jacksonville Airport in an hour and 30 minutes. I'm closer to hour from Brunswick, hour from Valdosta. So you can get to a couple places, but you're gonna have to drive an hour. And I mean, it's a nice, especially during the day. It's fucking amazing, beautiful, beautiful fucking drive. I'm talking so scenic, so serene. I've cried. I remember one time when I was April, when I was going to get my dog. Man, I cried at just not just the beauty, but the opportunity that I had in my life. And when I talk to you guys, where I say, "Hey, I love you. I got love for y'all," all this stuff, I really do mean that. You guys do hear sometimes where, I'm a little bit more angered or frustrated or what have you, or more passionate. But really, I got love for you guys, and I got love also just for my life in general, and what I've been able to do. So, it was just a beautiful drive. The sun was out, and I thought to myself, I couldn't do this. Um, Carbon Master, there you go. And that's also in my about section, I believe. It shows my email address, or it shows one of my email addresses. I think it shows like my Tree Star Systems email address. Um, but it's so like the serenity of it all and things like that, man. It is just, and then you get away from city life and all this other shit, man. It's just like there's just so many, not important, but there's just different. There's something different out there, and I always talk to brothers about like finding the different. All right, let's get this done here. So this is that same property on Google Maps. Now with Google Maps, you can do a couple other things. You turn off the layers, and you get a little bit closer, and boom, there we go. And you can see the property lines. So these are actually the property lines. So this is owned by the same person, right? It's not split. They're only splitting it up on Land Watch for sale purposes, right? Let's refresh this. They're only splitting on Land Watch for sale purposes, but I mean, you could tell it's like the same person. Like I could tell that, like just knowing, one or two things. Usually that's just how it is. You get these two pieces of land right next to each other. They're usually owned by the same timber company, the same person, same family, whatever. You are blessed. Listen, I'm blessed to have you guys, that listen to this type of stuff, and blessed to be able to say, hey, listen, this is what I've learned, and like trying to push it off to you guys as well in terms of knowledge and everything, knowledge transfer. And I'm blessed by this space because it helped me in my time of need, and this is my way of quote unquote giving back to it as well. Pink Book Lessons, she had a video where she talked about people oversharing, and I agreed with her. Some people really overshare, but it's like, what are you oversharing? How are you oversharing? Okay, are you oversharing because you're bragging about this one girl? She bragged about making 90K and then she lost the fucking job. And I do that too, where like I do a humble brag in some cases. Sometimes I'm really proud of what I have, but then also it's just like, bitch, I got it. And I understand that, and I know that's also what I'm doing, and I know people can see that in some cases or feel that or pick that up, but also I try to say, okay, there's a value add. There's more to just me saying, hey, listen, Lakeside Chat, look, I got water on my property. It's also like, okay, how can you get here? Where did I come from? What did I do to, achieve this? And that's a big thing. Young Grizzly, I got a crypto question. Do you think Coinbase will go bankrupt? Anything is possible. Alvin, what's it called? I'm Classic was on earlier, and he said Yeah, anything is possible. One of the things he says is that you should only use exchanges to exchange. After that, you put in your own hard wallet. If Coinbase goes, if Coinbase, if you lose, if you have all your money trapped in Coinbase, that's on you. Okay, aka on me. Even I have probably about 10 Ethereum right now in Coinbase, and really, I'm not too worried about it. I believe Coinbase is in a good position, me personally, and that is who I will work with and exchange and exchange currency and everything with. But they do have they there was like an SEC filing or something like that, SEC regulation that they had to put out saying, hey, you could lose all your money and we would not be responsible. Again, with cryptos, you are the bank, so that responsibility is on you, at the end of the day. So exchanges, a good practice is an exchange is just a place for you to exchange your paper currency or one currency for another for another currency, and you need to take that other currency, you need to take that coin that you get and put it in a wallet and store it on your own computer or personal device. That's on you. Sometimes you have to gatekeep, most definitely. Certain people you don't want in your life, man. Like one is my mother, one is my sister. I've talked about that multiple times. I love them both, but at sometimes you have to say, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to love these niggas from afar. If you share too much, it will provoke envy. Oh yeah, that's it. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, and like you do have to gatekeep that information, gatekeep some of the other stuff. There's some things I won't tell. Like I don't think I'm gonna tell my mom like I'm gonna buy another house. Like, and it's not gonna happen until next year anyway for me to buy something. I'm just looking at what the market is and what's possible out there. And I don't need a big house. I just need something close to strip clubs, whatever. Um uh Yeah, be careful. Yeah, you do have to definitely be careful with cryptocurrencies, and also just be careful with whatever you have, whatever you're doing as well. There's some things that I won't share or won't share for long that you guys have seen like little flashes of on this channel. Is Coinbase the only exchange to convert ETH to Bitcoin? No, there's so many. There's Binance. Um, there's crypto.com. I think Galaxy, or is it Galaxy that just died the other day or something like that? There's one other exchange that was actually, or was it Voyager or something like that? But there's a ton of exchanges out there, so there's a lot of places. You can really Google stuff, but the ones that you would quote unquote trust is Binance US. That's the US version of Binance that follows SEC and US regulations, and Coinbase. Those are like the top ones in the US. And there's a couple others, but Bittrex is another one. Um, that's all I can think of. But I only use Coinbase personally, and I only invest now only into like 6 coins. I don't really, yeah, I only invest mainly into 6 coins, and when I buy back into this market pretty soon, that's all I do. Mike V, thank you, man. Oh man, I love the new picture. I love that. Yeah, it's a little daishiki or whatever. I probably called it the wrong name. Um, I might be on the Brain Trust pretty soon, talking about some stuff. And I'm gonna ask Ulysses to possibly have you on now that I think about it, but that might be tomorrow. So look out for that, guys, on the Brain Trust. All right. All right. So what I want to do. So this. Ooh, I'm gonna have to take this down. Share. Share screen. Screen 2. There we go. All right. Cool. Because we're gonna have to draw some stuff. All right. So come on. So we see this property here. And let's just do, if you right click on Google Maps, you could do measure distance and boom. And I think it clears it. Son of a bitch. No, it doesn't. Okay, good. All right. And then, so it goes back to here, goes here, goes here, goes here. And yeah, we'll just draw around it. So we'll do the 60 something acres, and we'll see which piece of it is actually. And I go this deep when it comes to buying land. because it's helpful to know what you're buying, how much you're buying. All right, so I'm looking at these dots here. There's like, you probably can't see them. There's like two little trees. So boop and boop. All right, cool. So that gives me 2.2 million square feet and square feet to acres. All right. So square feet to acres. Come on. All right, whatever. Go to a website like this. I was on this website earlier. So out of the 58 acres, you have 7 acres. And I use stuff like this, little tools like this, or I have 7 acres that is just pretty much unusable. You're not gonna build anything on it. But I mean, you have 50 something fucking acres, like, calm down, Mr. Developer, Mr. Sims, aka myself. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, it's just, like, you got 51.4 divided by 58. Yeah, so you got 88%, almost 89% of that land is usable. So it's little things like that I'll go through, and when it comes to the land, and then I'll say, hey, listen, that helps with, when it comes to negotiations for pricing. You start to say, hey, listen, man, I got a large portion of this land is unusable. Like, I can't fucking use this thing. So, for instance, if that's that piece of land there, because it pretty much, yeah, that's that piece of land there. So that's like the usable part. And I could do that on even the other piece of property. This one is 62 acres, 185 grand. Its sister property, which is this right here, is 207 grand. Well, you can negotiate from there. I mean, there's not too many people out here buying this shit. If you go out there and you have some type of confidence, you go out there with a big ass truck, or you got some money, and you say, hey, listen, I want to get this deal done, but I'm not going to be paying a whole bunch of money for fucking swamp. Like, like, get the fuck out of here. Most of this shit is wetland. Like, this is fucking moccasin territory. Like, you're gonna call your fucking your house, or you're gonna call your estate the moccasin retreat, like, or water moccasin retreat. Uncle D313, I'll get to you in a second, brother. So I can look at this, do the same thing in terms of drawing a picture here. Let's clear measurements, and I could do measure distance, and it's probably right. Let's say here, 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 and here. You have this little piece here, and you have like half of this piece based off of this picture here. So you have like half of this fucking piece to use. I don't know if you can't even really get to this. So this is just that. I mean, bro, you're gonna have to get a little fucking small John boat or some shit to wade through all this fucking water just to get to this piece of land that's just not usable. And really, the mostly power lines out there. So you're gonna have to get some type of buggy or vehicle that can go through all of that just so you can get to where the solid ground is to get to that. So you don't even count that, and it's it's kind of hard. I have to do a whole bunch of shit to like measure that piece and then add it. Not worth it. Just not worth it. They're really overcharging for this piece of land, if you ask me. So, and that's 14 acres. 14 fucking acres, dude. 14 fucking acres out of what, 62 that you can actually use. 14 divided by 62, you can only use 22.5% of that fucking land. Like, yo, fuck that. I don't care. Like, at that point, that land is useless. And you're gonna have to do so much in terms of like, changes to the environment to actually make that useful. And unless you're a developer and you're doing all types of stuff with a large swath of land here, like you're buying out like this entire area and turning it into a housing development, this over here, all that shit, not fucking worth it. This motherfucker here, that's the gem. That's what you want. You want that piece. All right, last question here. What kind of critters could be in that water? Big ass snakes? Yeah, mostly big ass snakes. So your water moccasins, which are poisonous. I think most of them, if not all, are poisonous. But you have water snakes. You'll have beavers. You'll have turtles. You'll have, of course, your different fish. Well, fish won't really live into anything like this because it's such. I'm like fucking. I'm on the stream page trying to move up this damn map like an idiot. You're not going to really have any fish in here. Nothing like worthwhile unless you carve the trees out and then dig a deeper pond and then put in actual fish. You like feed it or stock it. But there's not really going to be any fish, maybe catfish or something like that, maybe, but probably not naturally because unless you have a waterway that's bringing them in, which I don't really see. This is just water collection points, especially for the road. So all that water is also murky, oily, it's not going to support much life, in there. So there's not much going to be in there except for all the shit you don't want or can't eat. Possums, deer will drink out of that. Also, your plant, your foliage here, the trees, they do help with land erosion or to battle land erosion, but they also help with I think they should help with purification of the water as well. So the trees will start to suck a lot of that stuff up. But the trees are going to suck up a lot of the water year round and pretty much make it to where, and then when that rains, it's going to be shitty. So your backyard. So honestly, you'd probably build your homestead probably right about here or a little bit further back, put some trees in place, and then all of this shit is just open. One thing you could do, since it's dry land, again, buying both of these pieces, that's the only time this piece makes sense. And even if I bought this whole parcel here, based off of, if I look at the layers, and if I look at these lines here, it's a very thin line, or a very faint line. But I would buy this whole thing, and then that's where I start to do one or two things. I hate catfish. I think I have I saw one catfish in my fucking pond. That shit came out of the fucking like I put bread in there and that motherfucker just came out of nowhere, came up and then went right back fucking down. Catfish is nasty. I haven't had fucking catfish. All you eat nowadays is fucking tilapia. When you like talking about anything fish wise. What else? Oh man, this. Yeah, you buy this and you get this whole parcel here, and then you can do maybe some light hunting. Oh, farming. So you get this whole parcel. Again, you're going to get most of this is going to go to you if you buy this side of the property, and then there's this other part where it's more marshy. But you might say, hey, listen, I want this for a lot less than this because we know this ain't going to sell to anybody for anything, right? You could probably get a combo deal, get it for cheaper. And especially with the housing market probably going to go into a crash or something like that. Possibly, we'll see. But you can get this piece of land or these two parcels here, or sell them as one. Turn the rest of this into farming. So you can put, whatever income producing crop you want, whether it's pecans. Pecans are going to take, I think, about 10 years for it to actually really produce. And I didn't know that. So it takes a while, a lot of loving care for fucking pecans to actually produce and give you money. But when they do, you should have a good amount of money coming off of that. I forgot. I think it's like a quarter a pound or some shit like that. I forgot. I remember this one guy had like 40 acres, and that 40 acres would produce probably about $100,000 a year. And that was just numbers that my friend was telling me, and that's what I remember from the story. I've said it in other videos. And I don't know which videos, but maybe in one of those Timber Week video on the MGTOW retirement playlist. All right, cool. That's it. Hey, listen, I've been wanting to get off of here for a minute, but thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you guys very much for taking the time. As I always say, man, love you all. I want to see you guys do better. And a little bit about the space, man. what we're saying and doing is working. Don't give up. Don't listen to the bullshit. A lot of this talk. We need to talk. Obie Allen and all these other people, Courtney Michelle, the Lapeef Network, and all these other people. It's all talk. It's all fucking stalling, as Ed puts it. Like literally, it's just they're wasting time. We've already talked about this. We know what's gonna happen. You're late to the game because you've been out here, fucking around and doing like these people. Some of these people are our same fucking age, if not older, and they're still talking. We've moved on. We're going to keep moving on. We're going to keep making more money. And a part of that is getting assets, like Alvin said earlier on in this stream. Watch the playback if you missed that. Getting money, getting assets, and taking cryptos or what have you, turning them into tangible hard assets, homes, properties, your traditional assets, stocks, so on and so forth. All that fucking talking that they're doing, that shit's over with. Let somebody else new listen to that. It ain't gonna be the Z's. It ain't gonna be the fucking alphas. We have to take over this shit. We have to get all these assets and put this shit into play. It's our time. We got to do what we need to. And if they don't fucking like it, as I forgot fucking damn it. I forgot line of MGTOW what you say, man. Like, I forgot the fucking saying you have, man. Like, give them nothing. Give them fucking nothing, dude. Don't even give them your fucking time. I mean, Big Bill. Yeah, I know it's working. Yeah, exactly. I know it's working, man. The shit that we say, it's fucking working. Bench and MGTOW used to always say, never get married. I mean, Big Bill is buying a farmland. Why shouldn't we? Exactly. Success leaves clues. Exactly, bro. And it leaves a fucking trail of fucking properties and assets and all types of other shit. That's why they're trying to shut us up. Exactly. All the shit we're doing is working, man. It's working. It's fucking working. The generals that we have in the space, the thought leaders, the ones that are bringing us more information, that are looking at this, have had their finger on the pulse for a number of years, your BGSs, other older gentlemen, the PhDs, whether you like them or not, what have you, man. Like, the shit we're doing is fucking working as a fucking collective. You ain't got to like everything. I never liked everything that Kevin Samuel says, or you said, rest in peace to the brother, the general. I never liked everything and the way he said it, but at the same time, man, look at what's happening now. Now these motherfuckers, I got strippers listening to me. I got to make a video about that. The story of this dancer, man, like, she's listening to me. She says, 2 weeks ago, she said she didn't have a budget. Now I talked to her last night. She said, my expenses are $1,700 a month. I've given, I found somebody that I can somewhat trust. I give him like half of my paycheck. She doesn't even have long fucking nails. I'm out here counseling strippers, man. I'm helping these hoes out. These motherfuckers, they know what the fuck's going on. They know. They know this shit is fucking falling. It's failing. They're shaking their ass and they're not getting as much fucking money anymore. They're not getting the same. They're not finessing dudes like they used to. You're damn right. Give them fucking nothing. Nothing. For me to even give the information I gave that woman, is a lot. 22 years old. She's in there shaking her ass, doing all types of wild shit. Yeah, Uncle D. Yeah, bro. I got to do an update to a video I made. I made it a while back. It's a red pill. It's under Red Pill Breakdown. And it was talking about distractions are a pillar of delusion. And it was about this woman. And I talked to her, that was 2 weeks ago. And I talked to her now, not totally different, but I said, listen, babe, you better keep stripping and you better keep working that warehouse job and probably think about doing fucking OnlyFans. Because the shit that you're saying is fucking depressing. Like, literally, she fucked up my whole vibe just telling me about her situation. I said, bitch, I was like, this is depressing. Your life sucks. And I somehow that fucking hit her. You just fucking $300 a week fucking weed habit. I'll talk about it in a video. Anyways. Yeah. Give them fucking nothing, dude. And what are we going to do? Buy some shit like this. Maybe in better areas. Make better investments. Become more time-minded temporal beings where we're looking into the future and not looking at what we're doing. Yeah, Diesel life, just like BGS said. Here it is. You're damn right. Give them, hey, give them nothing, and then GTN BD. Give them nothing but dick. I mean, yo, bro, I can laugh about it, man, but it's just like, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Coffee girls and all this other shit, man. The shit that these motherfuckers is talking now, bro. Give them nothing but D. You're damn right. GTNBD. Yeah, that's the fucking young grizzly turn on that, but the perversion of that fucking hashtag. But this is what's happening, man. It's working, brothers. It's work. The shit that we're doing in comment sections, the knowledge you're passing on into the quote unquote real world offline, IRL. All that stuff is working. The stuff we're passing down to our nephews, our kids, what have you, people around us, the decisions that we're making. I remember I had a conversation with one of the brothers in the space, and I said, a lot of the stuff that we do doesn't translate into, bitch, fuck you, you're not doing what I'm telling you, I'm not going to deal with you as a strag. A lot of times what happens is you see a beautiful woman, you walk right past her. And that's the change we're making. It's not the fucking, the overt in your face obvious stuff. It's the, I'm not getting up to give you my chair. I'm opening the door and keeping it moving. I'm not giving you a compliment. I'm not going to be in a room with you by myself talking to you and giving you any type of knowledge. I'm doing that in public and open areas. So you can't say I graped you or anything else like that. I'm not doing none of that shit. So give them fucking nothing. With that being said, I really do mean that I'm going to get off of here. We've done 2.5 hours. I wanted this to be a quick stream, and I have to rethink my whole fucking night at this point. And I have a lot of work that I have to cram into the next couple fucking hours. So thank you guys so much. Love you all. Give them nothing but dick. Appreciate y'all, man. I really do. Peace. Put it on a t-shirt. I should put that. But that's line of MGTOW's fucking his little thing, man. Peace out.